And you're listening to Host of Horror, show where we discuss and review horror films based off of predetermined themes of the month. Jay.
What the fuck did you make me watch?
It is one of the few movies...
What the fuck did you make me watch?
It is one of the few movies where I cringe, but also have a really good time watching it. There are surprisingly good, sweet moments in this film.
There are some... Okay. So if you have...
There's a lot of fucked up shit in this film, too.
There's a lot. It feels like when you take the trope of a summer camp, it's like summer camp meets American Pie meets like Friday the 13th.
This is one of the few summer camp movies where it actually felt like a summer camp.
There's a lot going on, and I don't know how to feel about it, dog. Like your boy, I don't know how to feel about it. There's a lot going on that would not fly today whatsoever.
Whatsoever.
No, this movie cannot be made
at all
in this year of our Lord 2022.
Which Lord is that?
Huh?
Which one are you picking?
I don't know.
Cthulhu.
I don't know which Lord I'm thinking. None of them. None of them. Neither God, neither Lord, neither higher power will let this movie be made in 2022.
Roll the die, pick one. Whichever one you get, nope, not happening.
But it's one of those things where it's like movies like this, they don't make movies like this anymore.
And for probably a really good reason.
Oh, yeah. All right, so... If you haven't figured out by now, by our gorgeous box set right here.
It's an amazing box set. It's the 4-disc DVD box set. I usually collect Blu-rays, but my fiance got me this, and it's beautiful. It has all 3 of the completed versions, plus the 4th one that was unfinished.
We're talking about Sleepaway Camp.
Woo!
Which I was not expecting to be a whole-ass franchise.
Yeah. No, and what's really cool is the sequels... So, like, this one and this one, which this one I like. It's got the chainsaw, the Jason Max, the Freddy gloves.
Huh.
Yeah. It's actually...
it's funny. It sounds like it gives, like, a parody of both.
Of all 3, because you even got the chainsaw. Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Yeah. But anyway, Angela is played by a new person who is... I cannot think of her first name. Is it Paula? Pamela? Anyway, it's Bruce Springsteen's sister.
Oh, well then. You know what? I think doing my research about this, right after watching it, apparently, like, the person who played Angela, like, went back, like, later on and reprised her role later on.
Yeah, she did. No, she's technically, she's considered a Scream Queen. So...
Yeah, Scream Queen, alright.
Yeah, but she was only 13 or 14 in this film. Which makes the ages of some other people in this film very questionable for what they were doing.
I do not know the ages. Honestly,
I had to look one up because I felt uncomfortable during some certain scenes, and I had a reason to be uncomfortable. Because I had to look it up, and I found out, and
Alright. So let's talk about it. Sleepaway Camp, y'all.
Yeah, 1983, directed by Robert Hiltzik.
Whatever his name is.
He wrote and directed the first one.
So this was a passion project, right?
Yeah.
You can tell. you can tell. Because, like, it's giving coming of age. It's, like, weirdly, like, horror coming of age film.
Mm-hmm.
But in, like, some really, like, a lot of different ways that I'm like, oh, this is kind of fucked up.
A lot of fucked up.
On multiple people's part. So basically, what I feel like this film is like, it's like Friday the 13th if the campers actually went to Camp Crystal Lake in the first one.
Sort of.
Sort of. In a way that's like, it would have been a lot of fucked up shit, but it's different in a way that like everything else kind of came about in this film.
Yeah. Killer's different.
Killer.
You still get the shocking ending that the first Friday the 13th has. It's a little different with its shocking ending.
I don't like it.
So
I tell you right now, I don't like the ending whatsoever. But I'm also thinking about this in a 2022 aspect instead of a 1983 aspect. Like
I would assume 1983. This was pretty fucking shocking.
But it's also kind of like
it's even a little shocking when you first like if you this was your first watch.
Yeah.
It's still pretty fucking shocking.
The
story.
I don't know what to say.
The story starts. We'll start with the story before we start getting into it. Because you kind of have to know the beginning story before you get to that reveal. There's these two children, a boy and a girl, with their dad. And they are out on a little boat trip. They're out on the lake, and then they're enjoying their little boat life. When they're like, haha, tee-hee, we're gonna push dad over, and then they push him in the water. Now they're all in the water.
Yeah, capsized boat and all that kind of stuff. Cute, cute family movie thing.
It's either the other dad or the dad's boyfriend, whoever, is on the beach, and they're like, come on, guys, you got to get back up here. The dock's coming, yada yada, whatever. Just get the fuck back in off the lake, which should have done that sooner. Because there's this guy who's driving a boat with the girl next to him.
These teenagers, and then
towing someone, like someone's skiing behind them,
and obviously does not like it
at all, not having a good time. The girl is like, "Yo, you should let me drive the boat," and he's like, "Yeah, no, that's not gonna happen at all whatsoever. Shut up." And she's like, "Please," and he's like, "Okay, yeah, I guess I am a teenager and I'm horny, so I'll let you drive the boat." So she drives the boat right into the fucking children and the dad, killing one of the kids and the dad. What happens to the dad's boyfriend / other dad? Don't know. He just kind of just disappears after this. And that's the beginning of the movie. Then we get to Ricky and Angela. Angela is the child that survived. Ricky is her cousin. And they are going to camp. The mom.
Let's talk about the mama.
The mom's weird.
What's that thing? What's that name? Martha, I think. Let's talk about her for a little bit, baby. I think if she was going for camp, she went all in. She is camp incarnate. Like,
yeah, you're right, Aunt Martha.
And camp and giving Stepford wives, like, it's almost like a caricature.
But it works.
Like what a mother would be like. It feels like you were not supposed to take this movie seriously
at all. It's almost like a made-for-TV show. Like it literally feels made for television with everything except for the cursing, the violence, and the over-sexualization.
Rampant. And you know what? There's just a lot.
There's a lot. But I will say that actually works. I do like the mom's acting. It is campy. It is really fucking campy.
I'm here for the campiness of it. Like, it feels like she's reading. It's not like she's reading, but like it's like a theater actor whose first time transitioning into film.
Yeah.
And they're used to being bombastic and over the top, and then she just kept that on the whole entire time.
Mm-hmm. And she does this weird little quirk where, like, she'll be like, yes, and we're going to send you off to camp. Oh, but before we send you off to camp, you have to have your apples, because it would just be wrong if you didn't have your apples. Does that. It's weird, but it works.
It was very intentionally, like, campy.
Yeah. But, again, it works for the type of character that's built up and with the reveal of later.
I'm mad. She's actually one of my favorite characters, and I hate that. Because of how campy her acting is. I absolutely hate it.
No, my favorite character is this beautiful himbo that is in this movie.
Oh, no, a lot. He's my favorite.
He is actually a genuinely good dude.
With, like, titties the size of huge rocks, and I'm, like, here for it.
And biceps that you could ride like logs. Anyway, for whatever reason, because we didn't bring this up in the Friday the 13th review, but 80s love their men wearing some booty shorts.
And I'm here for the return of the short shorts, the Daisy Dukes.
The Daisy Dukes on men and the crops. Yeah.
I'm here for the return of that. We keep the energy up. Keep it.
Let's bring it back.
Bring it back. Let me wear some short shorts up to my ass. Let's do it. Like, it's already being done. Let's keep it going. Let's keep it going throughout the rest of the summer. All right, let's go. Anyway, yeah.
So
he's
Ricky,
my favorite, and
yeah, and Ricky and Angela are off to camp, and this is when the film gets really good, but also really weird in a lot of aspects. So, should we talk about the good things first, or should we talk about the bad things first?
Let's talk about the good. Let's talk about the good first, because I feel like there's gonna be a lot of bad. I'm gonna talk about a lot of bad.
The good thing for me, the good thing for me is the actual. I wouldn't say the acting, because the acting is pretty piss poor in this film, but I do like the focus on the kids at camp. The kids actually seem like they're having a really good time.
Yeah, no.
The boys pranking Mozart, that was fun. The baseball game, even though it had, which I'll put this in the bad, go ahead and chalk that up there, a lot of 80s homophobic slurs being thrown out there. I did enjoy the baseball game scene.
Not gonna lie, my favorite line from that was "Eat shit and live."
Eat shit, yeah. Won't you eat shit and die? Won't you eat shit and live?
That one was funny.
I don't know. I enjoyed the kids actually acting like kids.
Yeah,
you don't see that in horror movies. A lot of times it's like you have a kid who's too adult for his own good, or the kids are kind of like not the focus. They're pushed to the backdrop, or you're focused on the horror aspects more than the actual kids themselves. It seems like they seem like kids at summer camp.
Yeah, and I feel like that's part of probably the casting. There's like they just want a lot of real kids instead of kid actors. Like, yeah, the kid actors are there, but like I think they got a lot of like just real kids. Like, oh, you want to go to summer camp? All right, let's make a movie out of summer camp.
Yeah,
and these kids probably were ones that like grew up, were like probably like toddlers when Halloween came out, and probably was all like, okay, cool, this is like a little horror film. My child gets me in a movie, kind of stuff like that. So you got these like teenagers that probably grew up on that are in this film. So like they're probably like having the time of their lives. It's like going to freaking summer camp and just they get to act like themselves. It reminded me of when I went to summer camp that one time. So it was pretty chill.
No, it was really good, and even the adult counselors interacting with the kids was good. Like they seemed like they were having a fucking ball. So that's one of the good things I liked, and the romance between what was his name, Paul and Angela. That was so fucking sweet.
There are a lot of sweet moments where it's like Angela is very quiet, very like almost like nonverbal to a point. Miss Girl, she was able to act with her eyes. Like she had like eyes the size of dinner plates. Like she was able to act with her eyes. And then like you see her actually get to open up a little bit because she found someone who actually, I guess, understands her to a point.
Yeah, no, that was such a sweet moment. When he's just basically talking to her. Like, not probing questions, not trying to get her to talk. He's just talking to her. And then finally he's like, all right, well, I guess I got to get going. Good night, Angela. And she goes, good night, Paul. That was so sweet. It brought a smile to my face.
And then like, oh, she spoke. And then like, you see her open up to Paul more
and more.
Mm-hmm.
And then there is something that happens where Paul, he's a kid, getting a little too grabby. It happens, and she's like, no, you need to stop this right now.
And then, it seems like that's kind of her way of coping, is like shutting down, because she shuts down and then a flashback happens, which I guess, sets up the first reveal.
It sets up one of the reveals.
Yeah.
So we'll bring it up when we get to that reveal.
Okay, cool.
We'll do that. Any other good kills?
The kills were magnificent.
So
phenomenal.
Fucking good.
And there's this one character who I wanted to die so quickly, and I'm glad he was only on screen for maybe like 10 minutes.
And I'm glad he didn't die. I'm glad he felt all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And still, to this day, is feeling it.
Oh, yeah. No, that was probably one of the best parts about that film, was just that one aspect. And, okay, so you can say that, you got the kids, but y'all, this is one hell of an ensemble cast. Like,
yeah.
It's almost like everybody had a little bit of a chance to be on screen a little bit.
Yeah, like, you obviously have the main characters, but after that, I mean, fucking Mozart had like 3 lines of dialogue, but he's in quite a bit of scenes. The himbo, beautiful little man that he's in quite a bit of the scenes. Meg, I mean,
Meg,
and all the characters
Mel.
are memorable.
Yeah.
Where like in Friday the 13th, they were just kills. Literally kills. I can't tell you who Kevin Bacon played.
No.
I cannot. I can tell you who fucking Meg is, because fuck that bitch.
I can tell you who Angela, I can tell you who Ricky is, I can tell you who even Paul, of course. But like even down to a lot of the like antagonists and the camp counselors and all of that. All of them, if you can't remember the name, you remember the scene that they were in, and like
you remember them
they played in the film. Speaking of, though, despite the fact that these kids were having fun, baby, there was a lot. Like I keep on saying it's a lot, but because for lack of better terms, but like I'll get into how I really feel in just a little bit, just a little bit,
just a tad.
But I like the kills a lot.
Well, let's start with the kills. We'll break the kills down a little bit. So we're gonna chalk this up with the bad. For one, is there's this one character who straight out the fucking gate is a pedo,
and like not even hiding it,
not even like, trying to hide it,
and everybody's all like, it's like they play it off because he's the boss. But like one of the bosses, but it's also like everybody's like, I don't know how to feel about this, but okay. And maybe he wasn't even hiding the fact that he was trying to find a little girl.
He almost gets Angela if Ricky didn't show up.
Almost. Angel's like, what? I think his name's Artie. Yeah, Artie.
Whoever he was, fuck him. But he gets what he deserves.
He got what he deserves.
It's such a beautiful.
The first incident of the film. So basically, whoever the killer is like basically gets this hot, like this big old pot of hot water that he's
boiling because he's about to cook some corn.
And he basically gets burnt.
Yeah.
After like falling into it and having all of that hot water just like burn on him.
Yeah, like all that boiling water gets dumped on top of him. And he doesn't die, which I'm so glad that he didn't die, that he just has to go to the hospital feeling that pain. And even the other characters like the cop, the ambulance people, all of them are like, yeah, no, this is pretty bad. We gave him a lot of sedatives, but he's still feeling all of that. Oh man, I can't even imagine how much that hurts. Probably every fucking nerve in his body is on fire. And I'm just like, I'm so glad y'all are bringing this up, because fuck that dude.
No, that dude was creepy out the gate, and I'm glad he was only on screen for a grand total of about 10 minutes or so.
Yeah, if that.
But it kind of, that adds on to like the whole list of like characters that made this film what it is. Like, it's almost like an ensemble cast, not through and through, but through and through. There's an ensemble cast. The next kill that I really like was, oh my god,
I like the bee kill.
This is weird because that I was not expecting a bee kill to be that,
gruesome.
Yeah,
it shouldn't have been, but I can see someone dying from too many bee stings. That's definitely a thing,
especially if they're allergic.
Yeah,
but it's also like everything just kind of fell on top of him and just like a whole crap ton of bees. So I get it.
And so he gets locked in the shitter, essentially, and gets bees dumped on him, and he dies that way. And the dude was a douche. Like, he was mainly a douche to Ricky, and he does one thing to Angela, and that's kind of what sets him up to die.
And then there's another dude that gets killed, like that. You can say kind of sets off more of the suspicion.
Yeah,
with in the boat.
That was such a good one. It's such a good one. So it's this one dude, and he's trying to hit on Angela. She's not answering, wants nothing to do with the dude. And so he starts like, what the hell's wrong with you? Are you stupid? Are you not all there? Yada, yada, yada. And later that night, he gets drowned. But the reveal is amazing because you have beautiful little himbo again showing up. And he's like, who put this canoe here? Flips it over, and there's dead body with a snake coming out of the mouth.
When I tell you he was mad, and
He was mad about that canoe.
And I just, I think there were
there was shit everywhere.
There was like two himbos though. One of them.
There was actually a lot of himbos.
There was a lot of himbos. I'm here for it. But that whenever like the suspicion keeps on building up, and just like the kills start to become a little bit more sporadic, you're just kind of like, whoa, there's one kill after another.
There's one thing that ties all the kills together, and it's the fact that before they died, they did something mean to Angela, essentially giving you three suspects. You have either Angela herself, Ricky, who is this very overprotective cousin, or Paul, who seems quiet, but he's also very protective of Angela. He started that romance, and he's falling for Angela essentially.
And then you have Mel, the old man who's trying his best to like keep this from happening, like keep this a secret.
He doesn't want the camp to close because I feel like he's got a lot of money invested in this camp. Yeah. So, if it closes, it's gonna be bad for him.
So like he tried to keep everything under wraps as much as possible, and then there's a point where like he's basically like trying to like damn near kill one of the kids he suspects, and my God, like I've never seen a man go off the rails.
Yeah, no, he beat the shit out of Ricky.
No, yeah, that, and he wasn't my favorite because it was like he was basically just kind of went off the rails after a little bit. He was like, he did not give a shit after a while.
He was also a pervert because he had a thing with one of the characters, which with this one character, you can 17, 18, still fucking young for this dude being 60. But at least it wasn't like a child.
Man, let me tell you.
Still 17.
Let me tell you, all of these, there was like all of the hijinks that you see in this film. Like take like American Pie, age everybody down, and then amp all of it to 11.
But like it's not sarcastically. It's like this. They're playing it for realsies.
They're playing it straight, and I'm just like, they're doing this.
Yeah.
Like you have the girl Judy.
Okay.
Like,
well, let's go ahead and get into the bads.
Yeah. No.
This is gonna be the bads now because I have a lot to say about Judy.
There's a lot. Judy is the main, like one of the main bitches of this movie that like is like just being antagonistic as fuck towards a lot of people, especially Angela.
Yeah.
And
her and Meg are kind of besties. Meg is the counselor for the girls' cabin that Angela's in. Angela and Judy are both in. And they're just I don't know what their problem is. I guess they're just teenagers and they're just catty. I don't know. This is literally most of the scenes with the women is just catty bitches the movie.
Like they're catty teenagers. Like it's like 1980s teenagers. Everybody here is like so just catty, just ready to fight. It's like looking at an episode of like Summer Camp Bad Girls Club. Summer Camp Bad Girls Club.
Yeah.
And you're just like, what is even going on with this? For all of these people, all of these kids to just be so mean. But then again, kids are gross. Kids are mean. Kids are complete jerks.
Yeah.
So like, it doesn't surprise me. Do I like it? No. Am I surprised? Also no.
No.
They're also just like, you can just tell how much like just hormones just like are just going all about it, like teenage hormones. Because like everyone's either mean, playful, or like horny. Like all of the stuff you see in like slasher films, but like Anthem to 11. I think the reason why I'm so uncomfortable by it
is because it's kids.
Yeah, it's because it's kids and teenagers.
That's what I hate. Because here's the one thing about this film that makes me feel so fucking gross, and I had to look something up just to confirm my grossness. And yes, it is pretty fucking gross. Judy, she is sexualized a lot in this film.
Hello.
She is 15 in this film. The age of the actress playing Judy is 15.
You know, I can't even defend that.
At all.
Like, even with the fact that, you know, a lot of us as teenagers were acting the same way, it still is pretty freaking gross.
Like, the thing is, I can get dialogue. If you have the guys like, oh yeah, her boobs are getting bigger, you know, things like that. But I don't need to see a low-cut, you know, her in a robe. I don't need to see that. I don't need to see her in a bikini, you know, every other scene. I don't need sexualization of a fucking 15-year-old.
The funny part is, like, it happens. This is honestly common AF in horror films, like sexualization of kids, of, like, you know, younger kids.
Well,
not so younger kids, but, like, you know.
But here's the thing, though, they cast them. I can see the grossness, but I can also watch a movie and go, well, you're obviously fucking 20. I get you're playing a high school student, but you're obviously fucking 20. So I don't feel that bad because it's a 20-year-old. This is an actual, honest to God, fucking 15-year-old child.
Yeah, and I'm not even to like defend this. I'm not even gonna defend that choice, that casting choice. But it's also like, I think all of them were like in their 20s. Yeah, it probably would have been the same amount of sexualization, but I feel like it wouldn't have been as, I guess you can say, believable, because you can obviously tell that they're in their 20s.
Yeah,
but I feel like that would make it more okay. This is like, isn't like, there's a reason movies like this would not be made.
No,
at all in 2022. Like, let's put it like that.
And
like,
the bad thing is like, I like this movie. I do like this movie. I hate the fact that Judy's 15.
Honestly, a lot of the stuff that's going on with this film, I'm not a big fan of. Like, all of these, the staff is so inappropriate. Like, It feels like all you need is a white van, and you have yourself like another kind of horror movie. Like, everything about these films is like all of the realizations of like people's fears about, like, you know, strangers, summer camp, and all of that. Everything's freaking gross and all of that. So it's kind of like, ugh. So I just feel like the other I don't know, there's a lot of character choices that are made that I'm just like, oh my god, this is only something that the early 80s can do, like, at all. I cannot even. Yeah.
But I almost feel like that's the point, though. Like, making these characters the way they are, I feel like they were trying to make it feel like a realistic summer camp back in those days.
They surely did that.
Yeah.
They did that, and now almost 40 years later. And then just seeing all of these characters is like, just keep on going. Like, Ricky, like, I've never, you know, I'll cuss probably like a little bit as a kid, but I've never seen these kids curse the way they did.
Dude, Ricky had a mouth on him.
Baby, everybody were sailors. Like, a lot of pent up teenage angst and rage and all of that stuff. You're just like, damn, what the hell? Who pissed in their cornflakes that morning? And then, like I said, everything, the body's being horny. Like, I cannot get over how inappropriate the staff is.
Yeah.
And just the absolute fuckery of that, especially with Mel, with Artie. Like, let's talk about Mel for a bit. This old ass man was literally promised probably a 16-year-old out to dinner. I'm like, not you trying to get yourself some puss.
I would say because she is a counselor. I would say she was probably around the age of 17, 18.
Yeah, but it
doesn't not really, good. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't make it okay.
Still a child.
And I'm just like, you know what? You thought that was okay back then. It's not. It's gross. It's weird.
But the weird thing is I almost feel like the director and writer knew it wasn't okay. But yet society back in that time thought it was. So I feel like he was, you know, just making realistic characters and putting them in the forefront. Because everyone who was bad, everyone who was a piece of shit got what was coming to them towards the end.
Yeah.
I mean, towards the end of the film, there was no more pieces of shit.
And towards the end of the film, everything just kind of...
Except for Judy. Judy lived. I'm not proud of that. No, Judy didn't live.
No.
Judy died. Judy did die.
There was a lot, like...
I was almost sad for a minute.
The kills that they kept on going, and then I feel like there's a point where the kills got out of control because why did you kill little kids? Like those kids did nothing wrong.
And the bad thing is like everyone had motive to die. They were all dicks to Angela,
except for those little chillins. They did not deserve to die. Like the fact that those two little shits ended up surviving because they went back to the camp.
Cold.
That is crazy.
That pissed me off.
Like it's just.
I'm
film
cold.
Frustrates the shit out of me. This film frustrates the shit out of me because it's like
Paul didn't deserve to die either.
That.
So Paul dies. He's not a suspect.
The last like 30 minutes, maybe up to maybe 30 minutes of that film, just everything just went off the fucking rails. Like story wise, character wise, like everything just kind of went the way of the fucking dodo.
The moment the cop showed up with the obviously fake mustache,
you can still see the glue on, either the glue or whatever. Maybe that thing was shining.
He had brunette hair, but his mustache was like jet black, like Sharpie black.
Like,
anywho,
it's also the fact that before going further. It's just the fact that Sleepaway Camp was made later than Friday the 13th, but Friday the 13th has a better film stock. It looks better. Like this looks like a film made for TV film through and through, like from cheap film stock to like just everything felt cheap.
It's also funny because it does look like it had a bigger budget.
Yeah, because
that's what's funny is like it looked like it had a better budget, but it also looks cheaper than the film that had no budget.
That's crazy. That is crazy to me. But I guess we can talk about the reveal now.
Sure. So
reveals.
Reveals.
Do you think there's anything else we can't talk about? I'm really just trying to push it back the most that I can before we have to talk about it.
I mean, I think we talked about everything. I like the romance. I like the fact that the kids got to be kids. And I hate the age of Judy. We talked about the kills I liked.
Okay.
The reveal.
So this film is a problematic fave for a lot of people for this reason and this reason only, mostly. So let's talk about it.
So Ricky. So okay, Angela and Paul go down to the river. Ricky is being pursued by Mel, who beats the shit out of Ricky.
Who is under suspicion to be the killer.
Yes. Turns out, not the killer. Killer ends up killing Mel, and Mel's like, no, it can't be you. So, it could be Paul or Angela.
I think before we talk about it, let's talk about the fake out that ultimately happened. This figure that comes in Judy's room and kills her.
Oh, I mean, you could think it's Ricky because it looks like a boy.
It looks like a boy. It looks like Ricky.
So
that's why I thought it. And I honestly like there probably be something that looks like Ricky that's like framing everything to look like Ricky.
I mean, and you could Ricky's got anger issues, and everyone that dies ends up dying because they were little shits to Angela. So you kind of think it's Ricky at first,
but
it's not Ricky. Not Ricky.
Due to first really you see due to Angela kind of shutting down whenever Paul tries to be a little bit handsy.
Yeah.
It turns out that her they kids are like laughing at something, then cuts to their father.
Yeah, they're laughing at their father and either their other father or the boyfriend doing the hanky panky in bed.
Yeah.
And then the brother and sister are in bed, and the brother starts going to touch the sister. And then before you get to any weird shit, it cuts to Angela freaking out on Paul.
And it's like they get older, so it's like you can tell that they're pointing at each other, and then it go as the
they don't get older.
They do. No, they get a little bit older.
Mm-mm. The finger gets closer.
The fingers get closer, but it's like I guess there's different points in time that look like they were getting older.
Didn't look because they look the age they were in the water that they were in the bed. So that's why I don't think they got older. So anyway,
like, it's kind of like it gets closer. It gets like I guess Peter.
Fuck if I know. I don't remember.
I think that's the.
He's dead.
Yeah, that was the name of the kid that
died. I don't know. He
Or
died within 5 minutes of the film. You think I'm gonna remember his name?
True.
Anywho,
let me guess. It's Ricky then. I don't know.
Ricky's the cousin.
I don't
Let
know.
me get to the reveal.
I don't know.
Anyway,
fuck this reveal.
So that happens. That's why Angela freaks out, because her brother tried to touch her when they were younger.
I guess.
Or maybe it was the homosexual lovemaking. We don't know at this point. Just something freaked her out. Anywho, cut to the reveal of Angela holding Paul's head, and all the camp counselors are like, "You two need to get out of here. There's a killer." And Angela turns around and reveals that Paul's head is no longer attached to his body, while Angela is holding a bloody knife, screaming, and she's naked,
already
sporting
weird, right?
a penis.
Yeah, the reveal is that apparently Angela is a boy.
So
and
when the accident happened, one of the kids survived, and you're thinking it's the little girl that survived. No, it's the little boy. The little boy survived. And
Aunt Martha basically is like, "Oh yeah, I've always wanted the little girl,"
and essentially turns
basically like
Peter, I guess is his name, into Angela.
Yeah, it turns out Angela's the one that died, and Peter is the one that lived. So Peter goes to live with Aunt Martha, and Aunt Martha basically
doesn't want a boy
because they already has a boy. So basically,
she gets a girl.
Yeah, Peter's living as Angela, and then then it just, after that you see the reveal, and then the flashback from that, and then you see Angela's like,
yeah, she's just kind of screaming,
and
that's credits, and roll credits.
So that's the part that made me be like,
which it's really weird, because they do like close-ups of her face, and then they do the faraway shot where you see the penis, and it's obviously a grown-ass man sporting his penis, and they just kind of like photoshopped her face on top of his. It's obvious as fuck, but
it's also like
makes you feel weird.
It feels,
because Angela's 14 in this film. The character that plays Angela, what was her name? Rose? Felicia Rose. She's 14 in this film. So you're expecting me to feel okay with looking at a supposed 14-year-old's penis? No.
So the part that gets me is just like this, and especially in today's terms, is very problematic, especially to, trans people, especially trans youth, because it treats the reveal. The reveal is treated to be like, it makes it seem like, I guess queer people are inherently violent, but we also fail to realize is that this basically is like this kid is basically being forced to live a life that they didn't want to live because of the circumstances that they're put in.
Yeah, well,
and it kind of fucks it up.
If anything, you can kind of add this to supporting trans rights, because in a sense, Angela's the way that she is because she's living an identity that she doesn't want to have.
Mm-hmm.
She's being forced to be this identity, to be someone that she doesn't want to be. So in a sense, you can kind of add it that way, but they also 80s the fuck out of it.
Yeah, and 1980s equals like, oh, wait, she's a boy? She's been a boy this whole time? Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. And it's just like the reveal just kind of, now feels like a slap in the face to a lot of trans youth who basically are vilified. It feels like it's kind of vilifying, queerness, vilifying, being transgender, transsexual.
Yeah,
and just vilifying it's vilifying a lot of queer shit that I feel like would not play at all, because in lack of better terms, it can come off as some transphobic ass shit.
Yeah.
Like,
but at least it's up to interpretation.
Yeah.
Where Psycho, as great as that film is, blatantly tells you that because Norman Bates is a trans, that he is evil. Essentially.
Yeah. And
literally, the doctor says that at the end of the film.
Yeah, and it's kind of goes the same way, except it's just like that's what it is. And granted, I can see why it was a shocking ending at the time, but it was also like, yeah, this ending sucks. This ending sucks ass, man. Like, I feel like just not revealing. I feel like if Angela would have been just like the killer, cool, whatever. It's like, oh crap, no one expected the quiet one to be killer. But it's adding the fact that like, oh, she's trans. It flips the narrative to be like, wait, are all trans people, are all, queer people like inherently violent? And granted, like, I do say that some of the actions that were taken, some of the kills were kind of justified.
Oh no! Especially I think every kill was justified. Every single kill was justified.
Was justified, mind you, but it was also like, bruh, and
except for Paul.
And
Paul just got too close.
He got too close. He flew too close to the sun, and he got capped because of it.
Yeah,
that part sucks ass. But like,
hashtag Paul didn't deserve it.
But it just feels like that whole thing just kind of it fucks things up. Like, I can see what they're trying to do, but it fucks things up. And also the fact that they kept it going in the Squeech movies.
Well,
I think for what I've seen, my research, like they kept Angela being the killer.
Yeah, Angela's the killer in all the other films, yeah.
So it was like...
But I think that's more like the aunt fucked that up. It's not the fact that she's trans, it's the fact that the aunt of basically was forcing her to live a life that she didn't want to live, and that fucked her up.
Mm-hmm.
So... it's weird, like, you can sit there and go, this is transphobic, and be 100% right. But then you could sit there and go, well, actually, what this is saying is people forcing people to be something that they don't want to be is really what's fucking them up. And you would also be right.
And you know what? I did read an article, is that, like, all of these events technically could have been prevented.
Yeah, if no one was an asshole.
If no one was an asshole and had, Aunt Martha didn't force Peter to live as Angela, I feel like and let Peter / Angela live as themselves instead of like what Aunt Martha's idea of themselves were.
Aunt Martha's the villain.
None of this would have happened. A lot of people would have been living, and we wouldn't have had to do that much. Also, another thing, I should have known something was up, since considering she's a doctor, and she sent out a medical record. Like, she gave the medical records to them.
Yeah. And made sure they didn't tell where they got them.
So, like, that should have been another red flag right there, that I'm thinking about it.
Yeah.
Like, what? There's only a few ways that those medical records could have been, like, sent out. So, Aunt Martha, the true antagonist of this whole film.
Honestly,
true antagonist.
Probably, so far, out of every movie that we've seen, worst villain. It goes her and the family from Get Out.
It's like you be your own people that turn you into a villain.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like that part. And other than that, the campiness of the film, how extreme everything feels. To a fault, everything just feels kind of extreme, and then seeing everything else and like the end credit reveals, just like, oh, this is a lot. This is just like I feel like this is almost too much.
It's one of those weird films where like it's overly campy but overly realistic all at the same time.
It's definitely something. And it's like, do I imagine kids to be killers? No, but I guess.
But it happens. I can imagine kids being killers.
Yeah,
100%. I don't know. My biggest issue was the over sexualization of Judy. That is going to be that is going to be the biggest deduction to scoring this film. I cannot stand that.
I think another thing about Judy's kill that kind of makes me uncomfortable is the fact that like the way that it looked. I was hoping that's like, oh, please don't put the hot iron where I think you're putting it. Please don't put the hot iron. I was like,
luckily they didn't show. They didn't explicitly show where
anything, but it's like ooh,
it's suggested.
There's a lot of suggestive themes that just kind of fucks it up. I honestly don't know if I can recommend this. I don't feel comfortable recommending this to people. I don't know. Maybe as like as a horror fan, you should probably watch it, but like take this with the fact that like this is also 1983.
Yeah,
like that's kind of what I say. Take it with a grain of salt, and the fact that it's 1983 and times were different doesn't make it okay. No, but is it like it's still like a time? Is it a time that you could? You put past it. I feel like you can enjoy this movie, but it's like enjoy this movie knowing that it's problematic.
I feel like I would recommend it, but again, only to people who enjoy horror movies. Because you can get something out of it. It is an iconic film. It is. It has an iconic fucking status, obviously.
Mm-hmm. The cult following, I can tell you that.
Yeah. And did I enjoy the movie? Honestly, yes. I do like quite a few aspects of it. Is the ending extremely problematic? Yes. Am I not okay with what they did with the Judy character? Yes, 180%. That is my biggest issue, honestly. Like the ending, I can look at that and go, it's the 80s. It was shocking, and that's probably why they did it. I can look at that. I cannot sit there and justify over-sexualizing a 15-year-old. Even though it was in the 80s and they probably did shit like that. No, that's not okay. At no point would that ever be okay. So that knocks my rating down for this film. Even though a good bit of it I enjoy. Like I honestly enjoy quite a bit of it. The story itself is actually not a bad one. I feel like if you didn't show the penis, if you just had the flashback reveal, and that's it, and Angela was the killer, that probably would have been a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
And just goddamn, why did you have to put Judy in? I'm rating this film a 2.5.
2.
It probably, like, honestly, if Judy was older, if they would have just made her fucking 20 or something, I don't know. Goddamn, I probably would have given this a 4 because I do enjoy quite a bit of this movie.
I feel like if they put Judy and Meg as one character, even though Meg still was like 17, 18, I probably even would have felt a teeny bit better.
But I can't. Like, honestly, like, I don't know if as the person I am now, don't know if I would ever watch this movie again.
Yeah, no. I don't know if I can. I don't think I can watch this series.
Like, I'm gonna watch this. I will watch the sequels. I will, but only because I know everyone's of age in the sequels. There are no children.
Yeah.
Well, there are children, but not the. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. This was this film was fun until it wasn't.
Yeah.
Let's put it like that. This film, it was fun until it wasn't.
And like that's the thing is like. Watching this movie, me and you both, there were quite a few moments where like we were grinning from ear to ear, and then there's other moments where we're both just like, "What the fuck did I just watch?"
It was cringe. There was a lot of cringe moments.
So 2.5, 2. That's an average of 2.
2 out of 5.
2 out of 5. Watch at your own discretion.
Yeah. That's what I can say. Watch at your own risk.
Oh, God. What are we doing next week? I don't even know. I think it's The Burning.
The Burning?
Yeah.
It bends. It bends. The Burning?
Yes. So...
Oh, this one's what was with 1980s films and summer camp films?
I don't know. Friday the 13th did something. put too much Kool-Aid in the water. I don't know.
Probably. So,
but yeah, 1981, The Burning will be the next film. It sort of takes place in a summer camp.
Okay.
It's close enough, and it's a classic no one ever talks about.
Oh, we got a underrated classic.
Underrated classic, yes. It's pretty good. I like this one. I actually watched it a couple months ago just to refresh myself as far as like, because I was trying to figure out what movies to put on here, because I wasn't liking our original list, and I was like, you know what? I haven't seen The Burning in a while. I'm gonna watch it. Pretty good.
Okay, I'll give it that.
Pretty good.
I'll give it that.
So join us next week as we will be watching The Burning. As always, please, if you like the video, hit that like button, subscribe, hit the bell notification, check out our other videos.
And of course, follow us on social media. We have Facebook, we have Twitter, we have Instagram. We also have Letterboxd. Please engage with us so we can know that you exist, that we have what they call a fan base, people that actually listen to us. Please let us know.
I know we have one fan. He comes into work.
I know 1 and 2 that
he got pissed off because we missed a day.
Oh no, he's probably gonna be pissed off. He probably gets pissed off at us after regular, but you know what? It's fine. It's fine. Things are going back to normal.
We're getting better. Trying to.
Also, we are also in audio formats. If you like to listen to us in audio form, we also are. I cannot speak today. We're on Spotify, Apple, Google Podcasts, and any other place. What did you just flip off the camera? Yes, you did. Any other places where podcasts are listened to. So that's it, and we're gonna watch The Burning.
The Burning.
The Burning.
It's THE, but it's funner to say The Burning.
Blah, 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 blah. I have a speech impediment.
And until next time, I have been Heath.
And I have been Jay.
And you've been listening to Host of Horrors. Bye.